think visualization is important in our everyday life. It's not just for athletes, but every athlete visualizes. Like Olympians visualize. You can see them right before they're about to compete, and they kind of go through their routine, and you can kind of see their body moving, but their mind is working and they're visualizing their steps. But as we grow up, we forget to visualize our day, or visualize how we're going to be healthier, or visualize how we're going to start working out. So if we can't see ourselves doing it, then we're probably not going to be able to do it. But if we can sit for a minute and think, okay, well, if I'm going to be more fit and healthy, what are the steps that I'm going to do that?
Welcome to the Creative Cynergy podcast, where we're talking mind, body wellness for writers and other creative professionals. Today, I'm very excited because I have my very first guest in the house. Today's guest is a true powerhouse in the world of women's performance fitness. Jenny Williams is an accomplished athlete and coach. Over her competitive career, Jenny captured multiple titles in the Try Fitness Challenge, including dual wins in the overall, marking her as one of the standout competitors of her era. Beyond her own athletic success, Jenny has made significant contributions as a personal trainer and coach. Her passion for empowering women through strength, athleticism, and confidence has made a lasting impact in the fitness community. A champion athlete, respected coach, real estate mogul, and proud mom of four, Jenny brings both grit and heart to everything she does. We're excited to dive into her journey, her lessons from the competitive stage, and how she continues to inspire the next generation. Please welcome Jenny Williams. Welcome, Jenny.
Wow, what an introduction.
Well deserved.
I love that.
Well deserved.
You write my bio for me.
Anytime. You got it. So, first and foremost, thanks for doing this. You are, like I said, you're my first guest on this podcast, but we go way, way, way back. The Try Fitness Challenge that I had mentioned, that's where we met. And you were, I was always in awe of your physique back then. You still look great to this day. So my very first question for you would be, what got you started in fitness?
Well, like way back then, I mean, I was a college soccer player. So I was always, real competitive. I always had, a tournament or a game or something that I was training for. And at the end of my college career, that was kind of coming to an end. So I was like, well, what am I going to do after that? Like, what's my tournament? Where's my game going to be? And what am I going to replace that or fill that void with? Because I knew I would have a void not having my team, not having that kind of discipline. And I kind of grew up that way. So, then I kind of looked for other things to do. I had a membership to a gym, and actually there was a trainer there, and was like, well, when you're done doing soccer, you should do this fitness competition. And I had no clue. I mean, I had a soccer physique, we were used to eating donuts and, donuts and chocolate milk. We'd go play a soccer tournament. So all of that was very new to me. And I was learning in school about nutrition and about wellness, but not to that extent as far as competing. And back then we didn't have anything like a Tri-Fit. We had bodybuilding and fitness, Miss Fitness America, or NPC, muscle, different things like that, just the physique and a fitness routine. So we didn't have anything like an obstacle course at that time. But I just said, you know what? Okay, I don't have anything else to do with my time. I'm going to start doing this. And I had no clue how my life was about to change.
Totally agree. I remember I actually did a Google search because I was like, I had just lost my job and I said, I want to compete in something. Didn't know what, just got this bug. So I did a Google search and I found the event that was coming in the summer. And when I went into it, I thought I was in shape, but oh no, that was a completely different beast. But then it gets into your skin and you start doing it over and over again. Yeah. So have you always been athletic then, even before you were doing the soccer?
Yes. Actually, when I first started in soccer, I just naturally got into it. I was always real aggressive. At the time I was fast. I'm not fast anymore, but, I just kind of had that edge, and I kind of had that drive for sports. And, not all sports. I wasn't really great at basketball. I wasn't just naturally great at every sport. Like I see a lot of people that naturally have a gift to kind of mold into any sport. But, soccer was really my thing, and I love to run. And I can't say that I love to run off the field. So that was also another really hard thing for me to do, is to get motivated, to put in those steps and those miles. But everybody has their thing, right? I mean, sometimes we love running or cycling or whatever. But I think I was always athletic.
Yeah, so Try Fitness was like a catch-all. It was a bunch of different events. I don't know that everyone knows what the actual competition was. So it was different events over a weekend, and it was you had to be highly athletic in it, and you continued to do well, and it kept you coming back. So what actually did what was your favorite part about doing that competition, and what kept you coming back year after year?
Well, I had done, like I mentioned, I had done, Fitness America, or something where you do a physique round and then you would have a fitness routine. And fitness routine, I was never really strong at, because you kind of, if anybody doesn't know what a fitness routine is, it's like you have a choreographed, not really dance, but you kind of show your athleticism, your flexibility. You do everything to music, and you're like the only one on stage. I had never been on a stage like that before. I mean, I had to relearn everything. I didn't have a background in tumbling. I didn't have a background in dance. So I always felt like I was behind the eight ball, like I could never win. I didn't have that. And then miraculously, I don't even know how I discovered TriFit. And again, you mentioned a lot of people may not know what TriFit is, but it is an event that has a physique round. So it's grace and physique. You wear, your swimsuit, you show off that you are fit and lean, and you've developed, your body a certain way. Fitness skills, which is bench press, box jump, shuttle run. So you've got all those athletic components that I knew I could do that part. That they did have a routine, so choreographed routine, which was my hardest part. But then they had an obstacle course. So I knew I had some athletic events that I could kind of bridge the gap of what I didn't offer in the routine.
Yeah. And originally it was called Women's Try Fitness, and then they expanded after
Well, it's
that.
called WTF.
That's right. Yeah, well, hey, that's what we always said every year when we kept coming back. WTF are we doing this for? But
Yeah, no kidding. Because we love it. We're driven.
Exactly. So how did it feel for you to win that first overall?
Well, back then we were in Las Vegas. So just being in Las Vegas was kind of monumental. It was world. So it was, 250 competitors from all over the world. And it just seemed like the Mecca, like we were there. I was competing with, people that I would look at, and I would watch them warm up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so fast, or, oh my God, look at her body. Kind of the same thing is that admiration for people that were our peers. Like, and you did that, or I did that with somebody that was good at routines. And I would be looking around like, what am I doing here? But that's why I was there, is for that level of competition. And winning the first one, I just thought, I really feel like all your angels have to be singing at the same time. You to win all those events and come out on top at all those events. I mean, it's extremely difficult to do. These women were in fantastic shape. They are really what drove me to get that championship. But yeah, it was sweet. Felt good.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned looking at all these other women and feeling maybe a little bit inferior, because that's what I did looking at you. So it kind of drove me, and then still does, because you're still in amazing shape. But having done it for so many years, what are some of your favorite memories? Because my favorite memory, and actually my dad was in the audience for this particular competition, and he never came to the show before, but you did a routine and your little daughter joined you on stage. And my dad loved that so much. So
he did.
yeah, that was probably he liked it better than my routine. So I mean, whatever. But but yeah, how was that one for you? And what are some of your other favorite memories?
Oh my God. Well, I have to say about that routine, I sucked at routines. I was, I was horrible. The first time I ever did a one arm push up, I had no clue. I had no clue what I was doing. I was just going to do this competition no matter what. My outfit was wrong. My shoes were wrong. My music was wrong. I didn't know how to do any of the skills. It was just all over bad. So to go from where I started and not having that gymnastics background or cheer background or any of that stuff where you actually perform to win that portion with that routine, like I had to be super creative. I had to think of something that was outside of what anybody else would do in order to bridge the gap between what was a normal gymnast to what was a normal soccer player. And it was so fun because I just said, you know what? I'm just going to throw it all out there. And it was creative. And I did get to use my daughter and I kind of pulled all that in. I was like the first person to ever add those kind of elements into the routine to give it a little bit of depth. But even though I didn't have all the cheer and gymnastic athleticism that some of the other girls had, that cutesy little aspect that I could bring, I think is really kind of what made it.
For sure. You had to stand out in that particular section of the competition, which is why I didn't have any of those backgrounds either. My background was martial arts. So that's when I brought my boys in and I beat the crap out of them. But it was funny. After that, every year later, people were bringing their boyfriends on stage. I was like, I wonder who started that. But it was my one and only time doing that part of the event. And then the physique round after that. You remember Coach Kelly? She was like, "You guys, I'm the only one who does it every year. You have to do it with us." So I jumped in,
Yes.
and it was, and I can say that I did it, and it's a good memory of the past. But yeah, for sure, that was yours was super cute. So I'm not surprised that you won that portion.
Yeah, well, it was, honestly, it was a surprise because there's some amazing athletes, but just knowing where I had come from in that particular event, I was super proud. So I loved it. Good memories.
Exactly, good memories. So you're still very active right now, or
Yeah.
yeah?
I'm still in the gym every day. I still work with my clients and try to be a representative to them. But yeah, still work out. I'm every day.
So you have multiple things going on now. So curiously, how do you balance all of it, like work, family, your other ventures?
I don't. I really don't. I just give energy where I need it. Like if I need to focus on my fitness for one reason or another or myself, I'll say, you know what? I really need to tune up and I need to focus on me for a while. Sometimes my kids need me, or sometimes one particular kid needs me more than the others. So I don't know that I ever really have balance. And I don't know that life is all about balance because sometimes your job needs you to pour in. Like right now, your podcast needs you to pour in. So we might be pouring in a little there where I might neglect something over here a little bit. That doesn't mean I'm not going to come back here. But I don't know that I ever have it all balanced. I really just try to do the best I can and make sure fitness and wellness is a big part of my day. And I'm lucky that I get to train clients and that keeps me accountable. My kids keep me accountable. So I think that accountability is huge, is putting yourself in a position where people, like, even for you to call me and ask me to do this podcast, it's a certain level of accountability for me. There would be no reason why you would want to hear my voice if I didn't have something to offer to what you're trying to give. So that's hugely important to me that I can have value in the space that I'm in.
Absolutely. Accountability is huge. I actually just got back into personal training after several years away, and keeping clients accountable is a big one. And
Yeah.
it's the motivating factor in teaching classes and so forth. But that's another reason that I started this podcast, is not only for accountability, but to also help people with that balance, which is why it's called Cynergy. It's also play on my name, of course, but it's a
Yeah.
balance of mind and body working
Yeah.
together. And so the majority of this is actually related and directed to people who sit all day long, and they're we're busy in our 9 to 5s, and we sit in front of a computer. We sit in our cars we sit in front of the TV. So, no, the accountability factor of actually, like you said, getting your fitness in regardless is an
Mhm.
important first step. But because you are such an accomplished athlete and trainer, what advice would you have for some people? Yeah, I know your head's just getting bigger and bigger.
I I just love you. I can put you in my pocket anytime I need motivation. So,
Uh, Fantastic. Anytime. That's what I'm here for. But what advice would you have for beginners who are just trying to start on a wellness journey who, are juggling a lot of different things?
well, I think it's a non-negotiable. It is definitely something that we can't put in when we have time. It has to be something that everything goes around it. And I think in order to create the habit of being fit, you need to do what fit people do. So fit people go to the gym. I think, or it doesn't even have to be the gym. It has to be something active. You have to move. I think we have I don't want to call it dumbed down. I think we have simplified fitness to say that walking is now cardio when just simply moving our feet and getting steps in, people think that that's enough. But, and it's not necessarily bad. It's just that we don't move enough. So taking the steps to put that in your day, um, and letting it be a non-negotiable, something that you really don't think about, like, "Oh, I'm thinking, oh, I gotta go to the gym." Well, we'll talk ourselves in and out of anything within 5 to 10 minutes. So if every day you go to the gym at the same time, you'll create an environment around that time that allows you to go to the gym. So, I tell my clients, come to the gym every day. Even if you come in, walk 10 minutes and leave, but try to come at your same time, because the things you're going to do right before that and the things you're going to do right after that will start to mold so that you can make it to the gym. So say you go there every day, you make your coffee in the morning, put your shoes on, tell your kids you'll be back in a while, and you go to the gym and you're there for 10 minutes. You get on the treadmill, you turn the treadmill on, you turn it off, you leave, and you come home and you finish your day. You're creating an atmosphere and an environment that you're going to go to the gym every day. And then you're at the gym 10 minutes and you're like, well, I'm here for 10 minutes. I've done this for a week. I might as well stay 20 minutes. I might as well lift some weights. Oh, look over here. Here's somebody doing kickboxing. That looks fun. And it just creates an environment where somebody that doesn't normally go to a place where fit people are, you're putting yourself in an environment where there's people that are doing things that fit people do. And one of those things is the gym.
Right. It's about building habits and staying
Yeah.
consistent with it. And I always tell people eventually over time, if you skip a day, you're going to start missing it and be like, wait,
Yeah.
I actually need to get in there and to, stay constant with what I'm trying to do and develop.
Right.
Um, yeah. So great tip right there. And also one of the things that I've noticed, with the people who are sedentary is the nutrition factor because they're rushing to the office. They don't eat
Mhm.
breakfast.
Yeah.
At lunch, they're going through the drive-through or that they're eating at their desk, which to me, you got to get away from that desk like consistently, not only to get up and have breaks in between and stretch, but also it's a mental factor as well. So what kind of
Mm.
nutrition tips would you have for somebody who's maybe more sedentary?
Well, I think the less calories you burn, unfortunately, the less calories you get to consume. So that's directly related to the calories in, calories out. But I think we don't plan or prepare our meals. We don't
Mm.
give it any thought. Like cooking and eating is almost like a job. It is something, again, a non negotiable, like your exercise is. It's something, we got to eat every day and we're going to do it. So it might as well be something that we plan and prepare. If you don't plan and prepare, you're like you said, you're going to be driving through the drive-through. I drive through the drive-through. Sometimes I forget. It doesn't have to be perfection, but it has to be progress in some way. So if you're, and I always tell people, you don't make the diet so complicated.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to research social media for how to eat healthy or what diet I should be on. Everybody knows the don't eat crap diet. We all can do that. That is so easy. And I could ask any overweight person to give me 10 things they know about losing weight or eating healthy, and they'd give me 10 great things. and I'll say, okay, go do those. Go do those 10 things. It's simplify what you want to change instead of constantly searching for answers when all it needs to do is happen. We can research it all day long, but if you'll just start doing it, that's all you really need to do.
Well, exactly, and that goes with the thing. Like I said, even with this podcast, it was ripping off the Band-Aid and getting my first guest on here. But yeah, people overcomplicate things, and at the same time, they want it fast. I don't want to get too deep into like the GLPs and stuff like that, but everybody looks for that quick fix, or now the social media influencers, or let me use AI to write myself a diet and exercise program. There's a lot of failure that can come from that, because as trainers we know that it's all a personal thing that AI can't really touch on. But
Right.
yeah, we were speaking before we went on air here about injury versus inactivity. So it was
Right.
about why did we do the fitness competitions if we're all banged up with injury? And you had some great points related to being inactive, and as far as like diseases like diabetes and so forth. So can you go ahead and touch on that?
Well, I think, a lot of people ask me, oh, was it worth it to play soccer all those years? Or, if you have, I don't really have any major injuries. I'm very blessed. So I consider myself lucky, but I do have a lot of friends that have had torn ACLs, like you had an ankle injury, and these are debilitating injuries and they could last a long time. So that is unfortunate. I personally don't have any yet. That doesn't mean in the future I won't come up with something. But as of now, I feel like I'm pretty blessed with that. But there are a lot of injuries that come with being active. We see that all the time. I say every athlete has an injury. It's just how we are. We rehab, prehab, train. Rehab, prehab, train, rest, recover, all of that in a cycle. So that is perfectly normal to have an injury. It's the rest, recovery, rehab that you do that helps prevent that injury. But the cost of inactivity your whole life way outweighs a knee injury, an ankle injury, or anything that we're going. Now, I'm not saying any debilitating injury, and that's very unfortunate. What I am saying is the constant need of, or the constant use of activity, growing in an area of athletics, even the mindset, the tenacity that it takes to be an athlete and to be a winner and to be a driver in that area builds your future. You would not be doing this podcast if you didn't have enough tenacity to do something, and you gain that tenacity on how you grew up and how you were raised. And if you were raised in a position where you had to fight for something, had to win something, work with a team to develop something, then how you handle things in the future are going to be much different. So I think the benefit way outweighs the the injury that you may or may not have had. And I had a trainer just ask me this morning or yesterday, he's like, Jenny, do you have any, he was trying to talk to his client. His client was like, well, with the injury of my grandson playing basketball, don't they get injured a lot? And then he goes, Jenny, do you have any major injuries from being an athlete your whole life? And he knew what I was going to say because he's known me forever. And I said, no, not really. I said, I just have a heck of a mindset from doing it, but I don't have any major injuries. So he turned to his client. He goes, see, there's a lifelong athlete. And that's what I want people to know is you may or may not come with that outcome. You may or may not have hurt or sprained your ankle or tore your ACL. And those are all unfortunate events, but obesity, diabetes, everything that we're going through with pre and post menopause, all the hormonal imbalances, if you can keep your body healthy and strong forever, then that will way outweigh inactivity, for the sake of possibly not getting injured.
You touched on something else there that is a great point as well, and was something that I try to drive forward every time I'm talking about fitness. The tenacity that I have now doing all these things actually came from competing, because I was a completely different person before I started doing the Try Fitness Challenge, and just doing that over and over again throughout the years actually helps you to develop confidence. So a lot of the times when I'm training people or talking about fitness, I'm saying it's not only about aesthetics. It's also the confidence that you gain, and it's the routine and the discipline putting in the gym. It translates to other areas of your life. Would you agree?
100%. Absolutely. I think that we, as we grow, if we don't ever lose, like we raise our kids in an environment no one can ever lose. But losing is really the only place that you can grow. It's when you go and put yourself in a position that you've trained really hard, and whatever that outcome is, to actually finish what you start and work hard at something that is above what's comfortable for you. That's where you build your character. We don't build our character being comfortable and sitting around and only doing what we feel like we're capable of. Getting over that 10-foot wall was not normal.
No.
We don't normally do that. That was a very uncomfortable thing to train for. Every single time we channeled our mind to overcome an obstacle like a 10-foot wall that a lot of people fall off of, hurt their leg, hurt this and that, and we do it anyway. You know how much character we're building in that moment, so that anything that happens in our life, we're like, okay, well, let's get over that. Let's do that. Let's pull together. Let's build this. Let's do that. And we're not afraid of falling. Nothing wrong with it. And I tell my clients, every time you come in here is not a perfect workout. You may get hurt. You may sprain your ankle on the treadmill. I don't know. But that doesn't mean that it's worthless, because what did you learn? You didn't wear the right shoes. You didn't hydrate. You didn't this or that. Everything doesn't have to be negative. Let's pull a positive out of everything in life, and then we can create, learning from everything we do.
What did you learn exactly? If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you.
Yeah.
But but you mean you're not regularly flipping over a cargo net? That's not part of your day?
I have other cargo nets, and then they're not just like, I have other obstacles. Let's put it that way.
Exactly. Let's get over the metaphorical wall.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I really believe that.
Oh no,
I
I
really,
absolutely.
yeah. And I also believe a lot in visualization. I think visualization is important in our everyday life. It's not just for athletes, but every athlete visualizes. Like Olympians visualize. You can see them right before they're about to compete, and they kind of go through their routine, and you can kind of see their body moving, but their mind is working and they're visualizing their steps. But as we grow up, we forget to visualize our day, or visualize how we're going to be healthier, or visualize how we're going to start working out. So if we can't see ourselves doing it, then we're probably not going to be able to do it. But if we can sit for a minute and think, okay, well, if I'm going to be more fit and healthy, what are the steps that I'm going to do that? You know, my trainer, Cynthia, tells me I need to, meal prep. Okay, well, I've got to think that through. I got to go to the store. I've got to buy those things. So we actually have to visualize our day of being successful in the world of fitness and wellness, so we can be prepared. I think visualization is really important. If you cannot see yourself as a healthy, fit person, it's really hard to get there.
Absolutely. And that's in all aspects of life, which is a shameless plug. I have a couple of guides that I wrote specifically that include visualization techniques and the tips to help you to get started too on
Yeah.
your wellness journey, because like this is why this podcast exists and why I wanted to have you on. It's a lot of people just don't know where to start. But yeah,
Yeah.
visualization's a great aspect of not just for wellness, but every other area of your life. And
Yeah.
to go back to like the mental toughness of it, I remember the second year that I did the Try Fitness Challenge, I did terrible because I wasn't supposed to do it. I came in last minute. I hadn't trained, so I was a little upset with my times. And I wound up a couple of weeks later talking to Olympic jump rope champion Buddy Lee. And I told him the story. And he said, "Well, did you do everything you could in the moment?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "So then why are you down on yourself? Just try better the next time." So it goes back to like you were saying, you
Hmm.
learn through these events, and you
Right.
don't have to like you just take it on the chin and move forward. But you only grow by going through some type of adversity.
Right. And that's really interesting that you bring that up, because I was watching an interview with I think he was a pro basketball player, and they were like, you didn't do good last year. You lost. And, do you feel bad about it? And he's like, why do you keep asking me that same question? Why do you keep bringing up my loss? He goes, Michael Jordan played, all these games and all these years, and he won 6 and he lost 30. Would you consider that a bad season? Would you consider, we only look at our wins. We don't look at, our progress instead of just our wins.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody focuses on the negative these days. I see a lot of don't do this, stop lifting like this. Well, by the time you cycle through all that, you're not doing anything. So it's
Right.
like you said, you
And
got to,
I'm
yeah,
like, who cares? Move your body. Go to the gym. You
exactly.
know, like put one foot in front of the other. Lift something wrong. I mean, we lift wrong all day long, go to the gym and just get there, and then let the education and the perfection of being in the gym happen as you're there. Don't try to perfect it before you get there. You'll never get there.
Just start.
Just go.
Exactly. Well, Jenny, this has been awesome having you on. Great nuggets of wisdom from you for everybody listening. Tell everybody what you got going on right now.
Well, right now, I mean, I'm still doing fitness and wellness. I do a lot of coaching. I have a lot of clients either online as well, but I also do real estate, and I do health and wellness in the world of real estate. So just kind of what you're saying is helping, realtors we're busy. We're running everywhere. I have people that, our cortisol levels are really high. Real estate is definitely an industry that we see a lot of that. So I've been able to kind of bridge both of those things together, and I love it.
That is awesome. That I didn't know because, as I was telling you, I'm bridging the wellness and the writer aspect because those are the two things that I do. So I thought I would combine them
Yep.
both. So the fact that you're doing that with real estate, very, very cool.
Yep.
We're gonna have to come up with something together here at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Let's do.
Some kind of workshop.
Yep.
But yeah,
Oh,
okay.
that would be great. I
Yeah,
would love that.
absolutely. I might be working on a couple of things.
Well, you are always thinking about something.
Always, always moving. Just like we said, keep moving.
That's right.
Good. If you want, where can people follow you?
Well, my Instagram is Jenny, and that slash on the bottom. I don't know why it's there, but Jenny slash getitfit.com is my Instagram, or Get It Fit. Get It Fit, all one word. And then I'm on Facebook as Jenny Williams.
Perfect. Well, again, thanks for coming on, being my very first guest. I hope
love
you.
it.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
awesome.
definitely going to have you back on at some point.
Well, it was
Hopefully
so
not
fun.
a second round on this one. Hopefully it recorded properly, but yeah. But
Oh, we'll see.
yeah, we'll see. We might have to.
Anytime, girl.
Let's run it back. We'll run it back. But yeah, thanks so much
Yes.
for coming on and
It was so good. I'm going to take a picture of us again. I think. Oh, there, I got it.
I think it just took you.
It was good to see you.
You too. All right. Thanks again.